Welcome everybody. Welcome to our weekly ProSharp webinar. We're a couple days later this week than normal, just because of some working around some holidays, some vacations that were happening, and we're very happy to have a special guest from Saskatchewan. His name is Kenric Exner. He's a former WHL goalie and minor pro goalie. So welcome, Kenric. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
The reason why we have Kenric on is Kenric and I have gone back and forth for a little bit, and he has done a lot of research on skate sharpening machines. Being a former professional hockey player, he wanted to, I guess, take control of his sharpening. So Kenric, tell me a little bit about the process that you went through in finding a personal sharpener.
Yeah, it was actually probably like a 24-month process. Obviously did some research, looked up your competitors, obviously looked up ProSharp, thought about the old traditional skate sharpening machines, the big clunky ones that take up all the space in the garage. And really through a friend, he highly suggested the machine, and just watching the webinars, watching the videos, watching how user-friendly it was and compact, just kind of led me to the machine. And for me, the biggest plus has been the ability to actually take that machine on the road. I coach a couple spring hockey teams with my kids, and to be able to put that thing in a hotel room or a dressing room and just kind of sharpen everybody's skates. It's just such an awesome machine, and it's so compact and easy to take along.
That's awesome. And so, yeah, it's always nice to hear from an end user, especially somebody who's done the research like you have, without, sounding too much like an infomercial. What are some of the features that you really like about the ProSharp?
I think, again, I like the quality. I mean, I hate to keep bringing up your competitor, but when I look at it, it's compact, it's simple, it's not intimidating. I mean, you're talking about 2 or 3 buttons on the machine. It's easy to set the skates. I've got 3 kids aged 5, 8, and 12, and it's so easy for me to put them on the skates and get them quickly sharpened. So there's a huge time savings, huge convenience. I use an example. So last week in Saskatchewan, it was minus 47 with the wind chill. So we were in a small town, and the ice was rock hard. But I zipped my boy's skates up pretty good before we went on the ice. And he was one of the only kids not falling because I had him sharpened to that degree. So just little things like that I truly believe it gives him a competitive advantage. Again, I don't want to sound like an infomercial, but every 2 or 3 skates, I'm sharpening his skates, and I really do believe he has that competitive advantage. And I think it gives him the confidence. Every time the kids ask, "Hey, Dad, did you sharpen my skates?" Yeah, they feel good and they feel comfortable when they're on the ice.
That's awesome. That's great feedback. And that's something that we preach. And so when you have the ability to take sharpening under control yourself, I know there's a lot of good hand sharpeners out there, and they do an excellent job, but having that consistency and having that confidence, especially whether you're a young kid or for you yourself, when you're sharpening your own skates, I think it kind of gives people a level of confidence to know that pulling the skates out of their bag, they're going to be at an optimum level of performance. Not the worst thing is grabbing your skates out of the bag and it's like, oh, I should have got these sharpened, and kind of wondering if those edges are going to be there. But a little bit more, not only did Kenric order some machines, he had a group in Regina, and it seems like Regina is a very popular spot for our machines. So thank you very much. We don't have a lot today. We just wanted to get some feedback from a true user and go from there. So John, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I got a question. Out of curiosity, Kenric, before you picked up the machine, you've had it for close to a year now. Is that right? You got it last year sometime?
Yep, about that.
How often were you getting your kids' skates sharpened prior to picking up the machine? Is that something that you do similar every 2-3 skates, or were you going maybe closer to 8-10 skates? Like how was it working prior?
No chance. I was probably pushing 3 to 4 weeks. Again, 3 kids. My wife's running kids to the rink. She doesn't have time. I don't have time. It's stressful. We've forgotten skates at the skate sharpener, if you can believe it. Now, like I said, it's 3 to 4 times, and it's to the point where my son, who's 8, he can do it himself, which is pretty cool. And I've shown him how to use the alignment tools and the balance, and he's got it. He's figured it out. And again, I go back to the confidence factor. He loves knowing his skates are sharpened. So, yeah, I mean, to your point, I absolutely dreaded going to the skate sharpener and running around last minute. So now, like I said, it's every 2 or 3 skates that I buzz them at least once, and it's just so simple and so easy. So yeah, the convenience is amazing.
I'd say that's the biggest thing. We've got quite a few of these machines on the market now, and all of our customers are very satisfied. And the biggest thing when I follow up with them is like, yeah, over time, if you've got young kids playing hockey, there will be some cost savings over time for sure. Like when you look 2, 3, 4 seasons down the road, I think you will end up saving some money. But the convenience and the time savings is what I think is the most common response. It's like you're not wasting 30 minutes driving there, hour wait, 30 minutes back, doing that every couple of weeks. It's like that type of thing adds up. So having the own solution in your own house is a pretty solid way to go about it.
Well, the payback, like you said, I mean, you're pushing $10 to sharpening now, and it's only going to increase year over year over year. So when you look at the cost of the ProSharp and all the accessories you get with it, like the travel bag and the wheels and everything else relative to your competitors who don't have that, to me, it for sure pays for itself. And the last thing I'll probably say too is, I mean, obviously with COVID, it's been a big year for outdoor rinks and a lot of kids skating outside. I used to have 2 pairs of skates for each kid because I was just tired of them being dull all the time from the outdoor rink. Well, now he's just got his 1 pair of skates, and I just zip him every time he's done skating. And I know when we go to the rink, he's ready to go.
Out of curiosity, what radius of follow are your kids on? Are they on 5/8, half-inch? Have you played around with that at all, or have they been?
Yeah, we've stuck to a half-inch. I think it's, again, because of the frequency of how often I'm sharpening them, it seems to be good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, when I played, I liked the real sharp skate for a goalie, which is a bit anomaly. But my son, he's smaller. My daughter's smaller too, and they like a real sharp skate. So. I mean, we could go a little bit higher up on the wheel size, but right now, half-inch has worked for us.
Yep.
I don't know, at -47, I don't know how shallow you could go.
Yeah, that's some hard ice. I don't think I've ever
That's some pretty hard ice.
Yeah.
So
it was cold, boys.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
But no, I mean, thanks for having me, guys. I mean, again, it's. I don't want to help sell you machines. I mean, they sell themselves. Again, they look cool. I think the packages you guys put together, I constantly get questions about the machine. It just does a phenomenal job, and it's so user-friendly and so easy. And again, my 8-year-old can sharpen his own skates, so that tells you how cool the machine is.
Yeah. That's
awesome. Thanks for being a great ambassador for ProSharp. And so what are you doing now? Like you said, you coach a couple spring teams. What else do you have? Do you do any training or skills or anything like that for goalies?
Yeah, so I've kind of gotten out of the goalie racket. I played my senior and pro and kind of just retired. And now we got a hockey school with a partner of mine called the Junior Ice Pilots Hockey School. We got 200 kids. It started off with all of our buddies and friends and family and kind of exploded from there. We're a nonprofit, so we make all the dads come on and instruct, which is pretty cool because the quality of the instruction's good. We got a pile of junior A guys, dub guys helping out. So, it's pretty rewarding and a lot of fun. And then, I coach throughout the winter. I coach throughout the spring. So, God, I bet you I'm on the ice probably a couple hundred times a year, but I wouldn't take it back for anything. I absolutely love doing it. I bought myself a pair of true skates this year. They fit like a glove on the ice. It's my whole life basically is coaching these kids, but I absolutely love being on the ice with these guys every day.
Player skates or goalie skates?
What's that? No, player skates.
Yeah, you done with the goalie stuff all together? Yeah.
So quick funny stories about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I played senior. I quit. Obviously, made a first kid. And I sold all my stuff because I was tired of guys calling me, begging me to come play because they didn't have anybody. So when I sold my stuff, I just basically said, well, I have no equipment, so I can't play. So it was just easier to go down that path selfishly.
Yeah, no, I know that feeling. I didn't play a super high level like you did, but after grade 12, I still had my goalie gear and I switched to player full time. I've been playing men's league as a player ever since. But since I still have my goalie gear, if there's like a last minute scenario where Tendy calls in sick or he's injured or he can't make it, it's kind of like, Well, at least John's got his gear, so he can hop in that, and it's like, oh, well, that's what I signed up for, but I guess I got to do it. So yeah, I know that feeling. That's probably a good call selling the gear.
You
It
guys
had to
are
be done.
lucky. People call you to play. People call you to play. Nobody calls me to play anymore. I'm feeling bad.
Well, it's funny. I mean, hey,
Get some goalie gear.
you still skating, Joey, or no?
After I retired, I didn't skate. I skated for a couple of years, just men's league. And then I joined a club skating for about 4 or 5 years. And then I was supposed to start again this year, but with COVID and leagues shutting down, I guess I'm taking this year off, but we'll see what the future holds. Like, I finally dialed in on my profile and my rate of hollow. So I'm ready to go flying out there again.
So I'm just looking at the Facebook post here. So we got a couple comments. So I just wanted to say thanks to Jason who's commented. He's added a couple points to what we've already discussed here with the key features of the home machine. So he really likes the wheel lifespan, so that you can get quite a few sharpens out of one of our ProSharp Home wheels, which is a pretty differentiating factor to some of the other machines that are on the market. You can get close to 500 pairs out of a single grinding wheel, which is pretty solid. And then what really sold him was the ability to bring the ProSharp Home as a carry-on on the plane if required, and then the convenience and the consistency. So just to kind of reiterate some of the key features there that he was that sold him on the machine. So I just wanted to bring that up while we were still together here.
Well, and one point I'll make, I mean, when me and Joey were going back and forth, I mean, he talked about the construction and the look, and I mean, I hate to be a little bit superficial, but it looks good. It looks solid. It looks like it was constructed out of good materials, as opposed to some of the other ones I've seen that are like plasticky and you know, they don't look good. And when I look at this, it looks like a solid machine, and it is solid, and the skate is solid when you sharpen it. So yeah, the durability of the machine is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's the Swedes. We can thank the Swedes for that one.
They do a good job.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kenric. Continue to promote ProSharp and be a great ambassador for us. Thank you for choosing ProSharp for your families and friends' sharpening needs. John, do you have anything else?
No, that's great. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the kind words, and enjoy the rest of your ski trip.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your break.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate. I will, and I appreciate the service, fellas. I mean, you guys are top notch. The timeliness of your responses and just the service you provide has been awesome, man. So thank you so much for everything, and let's stay in touch.
Love it. Thanks.